Mouse poisons. Someone said cut them off. No! No.
Hello and welcome to another day in paradise, and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropian. In today's video, cancer has been the scourge of the human species for hundreds of years, but it blew up around 100 years after the start of the industrialization of the West. That's because we used gases, processes which produced all types of environmental hazards unknowingly to us, and we lived in that environment and we grew up in that environment, and all of a sudden cancer cases blew right through the roof. In the United Kingdom in the early 1900s, this came to the point in which we had many people who were challenging cancer by using all sorts of remedies. Cancer was being used all of a sudden as a way people could profit off those people who were desperately seeking a cure. It got so bad that legislation had to be written in 1939 into the British Houses of Parliament. The Cancer Act of 1939 was written to protect those individuals who were targeted by the snake oil salesmen, promising to cure their cancer with all sorts of elaborate medicines and potions. Now, after almost 100 years of this act being in place, a little over 20 people have been convicted of crimes that went against this 1939 Cancer Act. One of those people we're going to speak about today, because this man is a snake oil salesman who has been profiting from the British Caribbean community for the past 20 years now, and that man goes by the name of Stephen Ferguson. In 2014, Dr. Stephen Ferguson was convicted under the 1939 Cancer Act for promoting on YouTube a cure from cancer, and he's still going strong right up to today. So, who is Dr. Stephen Ferguson, and should you trust him? Can you trust his potions and his protein drinks to cure all sorts of ailments, from arthritis all the way up to diabetes? It's one size fits all medicines that he has created himself, seemingly. Should you trust them? Can you put your life into the hands of Dr. Stephen Ferguson? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, share, click the bell notification, and please consider supporting the channel on our Patreon, link in the description. So who is Dr. Stephen Ferguson? Dr. Stephen Ferguson is a natural remedy herbalist, doctor who believes in the power of natural remedies. He uses his natural remedies to cure his patients of a whole host of different ailments and sicknesses. He has his practice in Harley Street in London. Now, to many of you won't know what Harley Street is, but some of you in Europe will know Harley Street as the place where you would find some of the top surgeons and top doctors on the planet. The fact that Dr. Stephen Ferguson has a practice on Harley Street is something that's almost bewildering to me. It's very difficult to get on that street, and it's very expensive to start up and to run a business there. So Dr. Stephen Ferguson must be doing extremely well. What is Harley Street? Harley Street is the billionaire's row for doctors in London. So if you want to go to the top doctor to get your nose done, or to get your hair transplanted, or to get some Botox maybe here, there and everywhere, then you would go to Harley Street. That's if you really had the money. But just how good is Dr. Stephen Ferguson? Well, you don't have to listen to me to tell you how good he is. And I wouldn't listen to him either. If I was you, I would listen to the multitude of testimonials that are currently on his YouTube channel. Take a listen to how bossy he sounds towards his quite timid patients.
I came to see Dr. Stephen Ferguson at the Natural Health Clinic. I was
You were saying about you had back pain. So how's your back pain?
back pain is eased right off.
I came to the Natural Health Clinic to see Dr. Stephen Ferguson.
What was you suffering with?
I was suffering with, they classed it as IBS, but they didn't actually put a name on it. Yeah.
Followed the program. How's your IBS now from what it was? Has it improved from what it was?
It's improved from what it was, yeah.
Hello, my name is Marley McLean. I came to see Dr. Stephen Ferguson.
Loud as you can, yeah.
The Natural Health Clinic. I had all sorts of health issues. I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol and high blood sugar. And so the combination of the three was quite disturbing to me. And,
what about now? So when we measured it today, so it was high before, and then what about today? How is it today?
Well, today everything is normal, which I'm really happy about, but I have actually...
What about your pain? Your pain in your arm, your arthritis pain in your
That's now
left arm?
gone, which I'm very happy about.
I came to the Natural Health Clinic to see Dr. Ferguson because I had lymphedema in my left foot. I had to follow a 10-week program. Also, I had high blood pressure. After the 10 weeks, I can now say that the lymphedema has gone down and my blood pressure has also gone down.
I came to see Dr. Ferguson because my blood pressure was high. I had pains in my hips and my knees. And after the program for 10 weeks, I feel fine.
Yeah, I came to see Dr. Ferguson because I was told that I had diabetes and didn't know what would have happened, but I am very pleased that I came here because the result that I got is more than I expected.
Okay, so you came to see me, Dr. Stephen Ferguson. So how is you had diabetes, your sugar was at 14 now, before, and how is your sugar today? We measured it today, how's your sugar, the diabetes?
Yes, that is down.
It's gone down, that's great.
I came to the Natural Health Clinic to see Dr. Stephen Ferguson.
That's all right.
I had really bad eczema since I was born and I've had it for 20 years. I've done the 10-week program and now my skin is absolutely fine.
Yeah, and what about your body fat and weight and everything? Did that improve?
Oh, I had a lot of body fat, which contributed to having a lot of red. And
No, you don't say the whole thing, but what's happened to the body fat?
Oh, it's halved.
It's hard. You've got half the body fat,
Yeah.
and then also you lost like a stone in weight as well.
Yeah.
So I came to see Dr. Stephen Ferguson.
Would you encourage someone else to do the full body MOT that you did?
Yeah.
And did you take the vitamins and supplements and things?
Hi, my name is Sherman Green.
Would you encourage someone else to come and do the full body MOT that you did?
He has hundreds of testimonials from customers that he has cured over the years that are all now on his YouTube channel. He really wants to push it out there that he can do the job and do the job well, and that he should be trusted because, well, hundreds of other people have trusted him. This guy is like Dr. CB. The only difference is that Dr. CB, well, he was a real doctor, and this guy, well, we're gonna get into that a little later. So what is the problem if he has people who are happy with him? Why am I going to speak about him? Well, guys, you know the types of people who I talk about on this channel. I wouldn't speak about Stephen Ferguson if there wasn't a good reason to speak about him as a person. There are many people who have doubted Stephen Ferguson's abilities. There are many people that have had problems with Stephen Ferguson, overcharging them for services which shouldn't cost no more than a couple of £100. He'll charge you $500 just to send you a fitness routine. And he's doing this to people who should be properly checked over first. People have also alleged that the doctor is not actually a real doctor. I actually tried to check this myself. I looked on a British website. You can find out whether somebody holds a PhD. And I couldn't find Dr. Stephen Ferguson's PhD anywhere on there. This doesn't exactly mean that he does not have a PhD. He could have had a PhD from a different country, but he wouldn't have been able to operate as a doctor in the United Kingdom if he wasn't registered with the British Council. He has been accused of charging his clients anywhere up to $500 for a meal plan and an exercise routine. $500 for a meal plan and an exercise routine. Who does this guy think he is? Ulysses? As a former personal trainer, I know that you need to make sure you screen the people properly. This guy has even gone as far as to charge up to $500 for a meal plan. $500 for a meal plan. Can you believe that? He's also been accused of using aggressive sales techniques in order to sell his own protein shakes and supplements to people. And then afterwards he will tell them that these same supplements and these same protein powders will help cure a person's diabetes. All you have to do is eat the right way in order to cure your diabetes. My mother did so herself. You don't need to take a special protein drink or take his supplements in order to cure your diabetes. And like I said in the beginning, back in 2014, he was accused of taking a vulnerable person from the Afro-Caribbean community in the UK who had cancer and telling that person that they could cure that cancer by using his supplements and using his protein powders, which we all know now is total garbage. It was at that time, back in 2014, that Stephen Ferguson came to prominence as a person who uses these wild claims in order to sell his products. So you all know now who Dr. Stephen Ferguson is. Guys, I don't need to tell you this, but you can't cure cancer by taking protein shakes and vitamins. You cannot do that. And I know that a lot of you guys follow Dr. CB. I would urge you to take very great care when trying to find a natural solution to curing any ailments. You need to really focus on that person who is selling you these products. If that person is selling you his own products, then that becomes a conflict of interest, clearly, right? So if I was you, be very careful. We know that he was targeting the Afro-Caribbean community in the United Kingdom, but just how was he able to target so many Afro-Caribbeans in the United Kingdom? Which platform did he use? Because not a lot of people back in 2014 used YouTube in order to find a natural herbalist or a doctor which dealt with herbal medication in the UK. Well, this is how he did it.
Dr. Ferguson is highly qualified would be an understatement. He is one of the leading natural health specialists in the world. Without further ado, I would like to welcome to the stage Dr. Stephen Ferguson!
Welcome, welcome.
As a Rasta, we deal with natural things from the earth. So yeah, I think it sits well with Rastafarian.
We're so used to now just getting a quick fix with a pill. We no longer look to what we used to do naturally through foods and natural herbs. So
I've listened to Dr. Stephen Ferguson on Galaxy Radio.
Galaxy Radio. Galaxy Radio. Galaxy Radio.
The Galaxy ASKEW radio show. This is a radio show which has now been cancelled now, but he used to come on this radio show every Thursday, and he used to promote himself, he used to promote his company, he used to promote his products, he used to promote his services on this radio show, which was mostly listened to people of the older generation in the Afro-Caribbean community. This generation of people, I would say, are the people that are the most vulnerable. These people will believe a handsome, light-skinned, well-toned, well-spoken doctor in Harley Street who has a good name throughout the community. So Galaxy ASKEW was a perfect platform for Dr. Ferguson to target that demographic of people. So I started looking into Galaxy ASKEW as an organization, because you know, when you are a media organization and you are in a position where you are being listened to by people who are vulnerable, people who will listen to you because you are in touch with that type of people. You are perhaps yourself a middle-aged Afro-Caribbean man who sees the light, who has lived the lives that these guys have lived. You are in a position of strength and of power because you can manipulate these people into thinking and doing things that you want them to do. This is how powerful the media is, right? So this radio show had a responsibility. I truly believe that this radio show had a responsibility to make sure they screened the type of people that they had on their show more thoroughly. And the fact that this guy had a slot every Thursday where he could stand there and talk to death these people, talk these people into a situation where they are completely enamored by him, and manipulate these people, get them to think in a certain way, and then take them down that sales corridor, put them in a position where they are saying, well, this is the only way, this is the only person who I should be speaking to. Then this Galaxy Afiwi does have a responsibility. They do. And I would have to lay part of the blame of this radio show for exposing their listeners to this man. So I looked into the radio show, and I took a look at the people who was hosting the radio show, the people who ran the radio show. And I couldn't believe it when I saw this man's face. But this radio show was produced somewhat and also hosted by none other than this guy.
See, is the Facebook page is also now live as well, so we're going to be having simultaneous conversations. If you want to be a part of the conversation, if you're online, if you're on...
Yes, it is no other than Marley from Motu in the Gambia. Now, I've heard a lot of, not a lot of people, but I've had a lot of people that have spoken to me giving me their reservations about this guy. But I had people speaking to me about the land scamming going on over there, and there being one person who knew everybody was doing something over there, and those people, and not calling those people out, but just sort of sitting in the background and not being able to, and not calling these people out for what they are doing. Marley is definitely in that position, and I would definitely say that he is a person that perhaps knew a lot more than what he let on about what was going on in the Gambia. He wasn't exactly very vocal about the land scamming that was going on, and of course he owns a small business himself, so perhaps he's not in a situation where he can go out and talk about other fellow diasporans and then invite them to his restaurant Motu in the Gambia. So I can completely understand if he didn't want to talk about these people for that reason. But when you add this to the fact that he allowed on to his radio show a person like Dr. Ferguson, who had these outlandish claims, who had actually been prosecuted in a court of law in the United Kingdom for these reckless offences, deliberately targeting vulnerable people in the Afro-Caribbean community in the UK. When you have a person like that on your radio show, who needs to be responsible for that? Of course, Marley needs to be responsible for that. And when you add this all together, it doesn't make Marley now look like he is a person that you can trust either. And this is horrible. I like Marley. I'm the kind of person that will listen to one of his videos, and you can see his videos. He rarely edits his videos, right? So when you see him on his channel, the Gambia with a B1, right? When you see him on his channel, he doesn't edit his videos, and that's because he doesn't have to. This guy can just talk, and he talks in a very nice, really silky smooth, I wouldn't say silky smooth, he's got like a London accent, isn't he? He's like, yeah, from East London sort of accent. So he perhaps would do well to perhaps go and live in the West Midlands and get himself a good old Birmingham accent, which most people in the UK already know is one of the most beautiful melodic accents in the United Kingdom. We're going off subject there anyway. So, joking aside, at what point do we, as a people who now have this power to reach out to our fellow diasporans from all over the world? At what point do we have that responsibility for the people that come on our channels, on our radio channels, on our YouTube channels? We have a massive responsibility. This is the reason that I've gone down this route in trying to use this channel to make sure diasporans who are planning to move back to the continent are aware of what is happening over there, that they are aware of the vultures and of the degenerates who are standing there now waiting with their fake law degrees and their fake doctorates, waiting for you to get over there so they can speak to you and manipulate you into parting with your money. This is one of the reasons why I made this channel, and I enjoy doing what I'm doing, but I wish I didn't have to do it. I wish that we weren't like that. I wish that we could all trust one another. I wish that our community was so strong enough that if anybody did anything wrong within our community, we could excommunicate them straight away, and that would be a fate worse than death. But we don't have that strength in our community, but we need it. We need that bond, because it will stop people like Dr. Ferguson and like Marley as well for saying things and communicating things to the diaspora, things that they shouldn't be communicating, things that they shouldn't be selling, questionable, facts that are not facts. This is what we need to do. And this is going to take time, but we will get there eventually. Dr. Stephen Ferguson actually stopped promoting himself about 6 years ago. He sort of went back and continued doing his work. You can still find him at his Harley Street practice. However, he is now starting to push his herbal remedies once again when COVID reared its ugly head almost 1.5 years ago now. So now he's using this as an opportunity to once again sell his natural herbal remedies to people like you. So guys, you need to be careful, you need to be aware of this man, Dr. Stephen Ferguson. Don't believe in all the rubbish that he's selling. There are other places where you can get that information from now. I know YouTube is not a place where you can get advice from. You need to go to a real doctor, to a real nutritionist. Bite the bullet, pay the money, go and see these real people who have gone to university, who have been taught, who have masses of experience. See these people and get real advice from real people who don't want to take your money, who simply want to see you enjoy your life. And as for Marley, I don't know. I'm going to have to keep an eye on him. I've been keeping my eye on him for a good few months now, and you know, I don't know. I think that he needs to be more careful about who he hangs around with, because at this moment, hanging around with people like Ricky and Cynthia, and also all the hoodlums who have come from the diaspora, who are now back in the Gambia, who are fleecing people's money. He needs to be careful of who he is sitting down and sharing his conversations with, because it's not really making him look like an upstanding citizen, is it? Anyway, my 2 cents. So anyway, guys, have any of you guys ever had any work done by Dr. Stephen Ferguson? Have any of you guys ever seen him? Do any of you guys even know about him? I've got to be really careful with my words here, but do any of you guys think that Marley is more than meets the eye? Let's say that. Leave your comments in the comment section below. It'd be really good to hear what your experience has been with Dr. Ferguson. So guys, that's all I've got time for today. I'd like to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I'd like to give an extra special thank you to my patrons, and I will see you in the next one. Until the next time, please think twice. Ta-ra a bit.